Most people think financial success is about perfection, never overspending, always saving, making no mistakes. But that is not realistic, and it's definitely not sustainable. Real financial success is about consistency over perfection. Welcome to Everyone's Talking Money, where we get brutally honest about money, mindset, and making life richer. While everyone else is making resolutions in January, smart money managers know the real new year starts in September. In today's finale of our mini series, I'm sharing why fall is the perfect time to set one powerful financial goal and how to make it stick through year end and beyond. Over the past 3 episodes, we've covered a lot of ground together. We started by resetting your money routine after the chaos of summer spending. Then we did a fall financial checkup to make sure your cash flow, savings, and debt are all pointing in the right direction. And last time, we talked about smart spending strategies so you can enjoy the busy season without derailing your budget. But today we're talking about something that could be a total game changer for your finances, treating September as your financial new year. Think about it. January could feel arbitrary, right? I mean, if it wasn't for the new year, January 1st wouldn't mean that much to us. We're still recovering from holiday spending. The weather is depressing. You're trying to force motivation when your energy is at the lowest. But September actually has natural momentum. Kids are back in school, routines are settling in, and there's this fresh start energy in the air. Plus, and this is the key, you've still got 4 solid months left in the calendar year. That's enough time to make real progress on a meaningful goal, but not so much time that you lose focus. So today, I'm going to show you how to harness that September energy and channel it into one powerful financial goal that can transform your year end and set you up for long-term success. Let me ask you something. When was the last time a January resolution actually stuck? I'll wait. Here's the thing about January. Everyone's doing it. The gym is packed. Everyone's talking about their goals, and there's so much pressure to completely overhaul your life. By February, though, 80% of people have given up. But September is different. It's quieter. There's less social pressure, but there's more natural motivation. Think about what's happening in September. School routines are kicking in, which means your schedule is getting more predictable. Summer vacation spending is behind you, so you can see where you really stand financially. The holidays are close enough to matter, but far enough away that you can actually prepare. I am recording this right before this episode launches, and I already saw some neighborhoods putting up Christmas lights on their common grounds. What that means is Christmas is around the corner, but it still seems ridiculously far away to even start putting up Christmas lights. Psychologically, September feels like a natural starting point. We're wired to think of fall as a time of new beginnings. New school year, new projects, new seasons. Your brain is already primed for change. But here's what makes September even more powerful for your financial goals. You have built-in checkpoints. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. These aren't just holidays. They're natural progress markers. You can measure how you're doing and adjust as you go. And let's be practical. If you set a financial goal in September and work it consistently through December, you're not starting the new year broke and behind. You're starting ahead of the game. And here's something else that's powerful about September timing. You're working with your natural rhythms, not against them. Think about it. In January, your body is still in hibernation mode. You've been eating heavier foods, staying inside more. Your energy is naturally lower. But September, you're coming out of the relaxed summer mindset. Your energy is naturally increasing, and your brain is already thinking about preparation and organization. There's actually research that shows our brains are more receptive to forming new habits in the fall. It's tied to our evolutionary patterns. Fall was traditionally preparation time. Your ancestors spent September gathering, planning, preparing for winter. That same instinct is still in your DNA. Plus, let's be honest about social pressure. In January, everyone at work is talking about their resolutions. Your social media is full of new year, new me posts. There's this exhausting comparison game happening. But in September, you're flying under the radar. You can make changes quietly without the noise and the pressure. And here's the practical benefit. If I haven't mentioned this yet, your spending patterns are more predictable in September. Summer is chaos, vacations, camps, spontaneous weekend trips, outdoor activities. But once September hits, your expenses become more routine and predictable, which makes budgeting and goal setting so much easier. Compare that to the January approach when you're trying to recover from holiday spending and start something new. It's like trying to build a house on quicksand. September gives you solid ground to work with. And also think about it. Most people's New Year's resolutions have to do with money or exercise and getting fit. If you only start exercising after the holiday season, after you've been enjoying everything a little bit too much, exercising just feels like a slog. But if you start exercising in September and you exercise through the holiday season, think how much better you are going to feel in January once the holiday's over to really ramp up your exercise routine. Now, before we talk about what your goal should be, let's talk about how many goals you should set. Ready for this revolutionary advice? 1. I know. You probably had a mental list of 12 things you wanted to fix about your finances. But here's what I've learned after years of helping people with money. The magic happens when you focus. Have you ever heard of the book, The Pumpkin Plan? The Pumpkin Plan is all about putting your energy into one thing. Just like when you're growing a pumpkin, you don't keep all of these vines that are only like half working and maybe growing teeny tiny pumpkins or nothing at all on it. If you find one vine that is growing a pumpkin, you snip everything else away so the plant can give all of its energy and nutrients to that one vine. Think of your finances as your pumpkin plan as well. When you spread your energy across multiple goals, save more money, pay off debt, invest, budget better, earn more, you make progress on nothing. When you pick one goal and pour your focus into it, you can create real momentum. Think of it like a magnifying glass in the sun. Spread the light around and nothing happens. Focus it on one spot and you can start a fire. So, how do you choose one goal when we have so many things about our finances that we want to fix? Ask yourself 3 questions. Question 1: what would make the biggest difference in my financial life right now? Maybe it's finally building that emergency fund so you stop living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe it's paying off that credit card that's been haunting you. Maybe it's automating your savings so you stop feeling guilty about not saving enough. Question 2: what feels achievable but challenging? You want something that stretches you but doesn't break you. Saving $10,000 in 4 months might sound impressive, but if you're currently saving zero, it's probably not realistic. But saving $1,000, that might be the perfect challenge. Question 3: what would set you up for success next year? Think about the domino effect. What's one thing that if you accomplished it by December 31st would make everything else easier in the new year? For example, If you paid off your credit cards by year end, you could redirect that payment towards your emergency fund starting in January. If you built your emergency fund, you could start investing without worry. If you automated your savings, you could focus on earning more. See how one goal creates momentum for the next? That's the power of focused effort. So let me give you some examples of powerful September goals. I will pay off my $3,000 credit card by December 31st. I will save $1,500 in my emergency fund by New Year's. I will automate $200 per month into savings and not touch it. I will create a holiday sinking fund with $600 by November 1st. Notice how specific these are. It's not save more, but it's save $1,500. Not pay off debt, but pay off my $3,000 credit card. There is power in being specific. Now, let's talk about sizing your goal correctly, because this is where a lot of people get stuck. They either pick something so small it doesn't feel meaningful, or so big that it feels impossible. Here's my rule of thumb. Your September goal should feel like a stretch, but not a strain. If thinking about your goal makes you excited and a little nervous, that's perfect. If thinking about your goal makes you want to hide under the covers or say to yourself, I have no idea how I'm going to achieve this, it's probably too big. Let's do some quick math on different goal sizes so you can find your sweet spot. If you want to save $1,000 by December 31st, that's about $333 a month, or roughly $83 a week. That might mean skipping one dinner out per week and bringing lunch home twice a week. If $1,000 feels too ambitious, let's try $600. That's $200 a month, or about $50 a week. Maybe that's one streaming service cancellation plus making coffee at home 3 days a week instead of buying it. Or maybe you're thinking bigger. What about $2,000? That's $667 a month, or $166 a week. This might require more significant change, like picking up a few hours of freelance work each month, or doing a serious audit of your subscription services and discretionary spending. But start with the goal and work backwards to determine if it's realistic. If you think, oh, I'm just going to save $2,000 and not actually think about what that means for you per week or per month, that's not a realistic goal. You're just setting yourself up for failure. But if you say, I want to save $2,000 between now and at the end of the year, and that means I need to save $166 a week, you may be able to identify ways to save it. If you can, awesome. If you can't identify those ways quickly, you need to adjust your goal. Otherwise, you're just going to set yourself up for failure and think you're never able to do this, and we're going to be in the same vicious cycle again this time next year. Here's what's important. There's no right amount. The right goal is one that matters to you and feels doable within your current life and budget. Don't pick a goal because it sounds impressive. Pick a goal because achieving it would genuinely improve your life and build your confidence. And remember, this is practice. You're not just working toward a dollar amount. You're practicing the skill of setting a financial goal and following through. This skill is worth more than any specific amount you save or pay off. Before we move into the framework, let me share the biggest mistakes I see people make when setting September goals. The perfectionist trap. And this one is so common. This sounds like, I will never eat out again, or I will save every single penny. All or nothing thinking sets you up for failure. One slip up and you feel like you've blown it completely. Instead, build in some flexibility. I will limit eating out to twice per week, or I will save 80% of my goal amount with wiggle room for life. the moving target. You start with save $1,000, but then you read an article that says you should have 6 months worth of expenses saved. So you change your goal to $6,000. And then you hear a podcast about investing. So you switch your goal to max out my IRA and use your $6,000 goal for that. Pick a goal and stick with it. There will always be other financial priorities, but scattered effort leads to scattered results. And honestly, then you don't feel like you've achieved anything. And here's a bonus mistake: the comparison trap. Your goal isn't about keeping up with your friend who's paying off $50,000 in debt, or keeping up with your sister who has a $30,000 emergency fund saved. Your goal is about your life, your budget, and your next step forward. So now let's talk about the goal setting framework. You're ready to choose your goal. But before you pick something and hope for the best, let me give you a framework that actually works. And I call it the SMARTer method. And yes, I know SMART goals are everywhere, but I'm adding an R that most people miss. S is specific, not save money, but save $1,200 for my emergency fund. M is measurable. I need $300 per month for 4 months. A is achievable. Stretch yourself, but be realistic about your current situation. R is relevant. This goal should matter to your life, not what Instagram says you should do. And T is time bound. December 31st is your deadline. And here is my addition, that extra R. R is rewarded. You need to celebrate progress along the way. Let me walk you through this with a real example. Let's say your goal is to save $1,200 for an emergency fund by December 31st. Specific, $1,200 emergency fund. Measurable, that's $300 per month for 4 months, or about $75 per week. Achievable, you've looked at your budget and know you can cut $75 worth of spending per week. Relevant, you're tired of using credit cards for unexpected expenses. Time bound, December 31st is the deadline. Rewarded, you'll celebrate at $300, $600, $900, and $1,200 milestones. Now, here's where most people stop. They set the goal and then just hope it happens. But you're going to be smarter than that. Step 1, break it down into weekly actions. $1,200 divided by 16 weeks equals $75 per week. So every Friday, you're transferring $75 to your emergency fund, non-negotiable. Step 2, identify your funding source. Where is that $75 per week coming from? Maybe it's skipping 2 restaurant meals at $40 and reducing your shopping budget of $35, or canceling 2 subscriptions that total $30 and brown bagging lunch twice, which is valued at $45. Or you could be bringing more money in versus cutting your expenses. So working 2 hours of overtime at $75. Be specific. Vague plans fail. Step 3, create accountability. Tell someone about your goal. Set phone reminders. Track progress visually. Maybe a chart on your fridge or a progress bar on your phone. Step 4, plan for obstacles. What happens when you have a bad week? Or what happens when unexpected expenses pop up? When does motivation dip? Have a backup plan. Maybe you have 3 strategies to find that $75. So if one fails, you can always pivot. And step 5, celebrate milestones. This is huge. When you hit $300, do something small to celebrate. When you hit $600, celebrate again. Don't wait until the end. Acknowledge your progress along the way. And here's why this works. You are not relying on willpower because willpower fades. You are relying on systems, and systems compound. Now, let's talk about what to do when things go sideways, because they will. I want you to be prepared for the next 3 most common obstacles that derail September goals. Obstacle number 1, the October slump. You start strong in September, but by mid-October, the novelty has worn off and it starts to feel hard. This is normal. This is where most people quit. But here's what you're going to do instead. You're going to expect it. When October 20th rolls around and you're feeling less motivated, you're going to remember that this is part of the process, not a sign that you should quit. Create what I call a motivation renewal kit. This is a note you write for yourself in September when you're excited about your goal. In it, remind your future self why this goal matters, how good it's going to feel when you achieve it, and what life will look like on January 1st if you stick with it. When motivation dips, read that note. Obstacle number 2, unexpected expenses. Your car needs repairs. Your kid needs something for school. Your pet gets sick. Life happens. But here's the thing. Unexpected expenses aren't really unexpected. They're just unscheduled. Build a small buffer into your goal. If your goal is to save $1,200, actually plan for $1,000 and give yourself a $200 cushion. That way, when something comes up, you can handle it without feeling like you failed. And hey, you were saving for a goal. You were saving to have cash. And when that expense comes up, you're using that savings for the exact reason why you're saving for it. Just that unexpected thing came up a little sooner than you were planning for. But why would we beat ourselves up for that? Your money did exactly what it was supposed to do. Your goal did exactly what it was supposed to do. So celebrate that and feel good about it instead of feeling like you messed up. Obstacle number 3, societal pressure and guilt. Someone is going to make you feel bad about your goal. Oh, you're being too strict with money, or just put it on the credit card. You can pay it off later. Let's go out to dinner now. Practice your response now. I'm working towards something important for me. Or I appreciate your concern, but I'm feeling really good about my plan. You don't owe anyone an explanation for making smart money choices. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. You're setting this goal in September, but you've got to make it through Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. That is a really expensive 90-day block. But here's the good news. If you pick the right goal and set it up correctly, the holidays will actually help you stick to it, not derail you. Strategy 1, use holiday deadlines as motivation. If your goal is to build a holiday fund, obviously Halloween and Thanksgiving become progress checkpoints. I want to start 2026 debt-free is powerful motivation when you're tempted to swipe that credit card in December. Strategy 2, plan for holiday spending separately. Remember our sinking fund episode? This is where it pays off. If you've already planned and saved for holiday expenses, they won't compete with your main goal. You can do both. You can holiday spend and save. Strategy number 3, make your goal visible. Put a visual tracker somewhere you'll see it during the holiday chaos. When you're tempted to blow your budget on Black Friday deals, you'll remember what you're really working towards. Strategy 4, find accountability partners. The holidays are social, so make your goals social too. Find a friend or family member who will check in with you. Or better yet, find someone working towards their own September goal and check in with each other. And even better yet, share this episode with someone and then work together and come up with your own goals and then check in. Motivate other people to create their own September goals. Strategy 5, remember your why. This isn't about deprivation. It's about intentionality. You're not avoiding holiday fun. You're making sure you can enjoy it without financial stress. That emergency fund you've been building, it means you won't panic if the car breaks down during your holiday road trip. That debt you're paying off, it means you start next year with freedom instead of payments. The holidays don't have to be the enemy of your financial goals. With the right mindset, they can be your biggest motivation. All right, let's bring this all together with a concrete action plan that you can start this week. So, what are we going to do? This week, choose your one September goal using the SMARTer framework. 2, calculate exactly what you need to do monthly and weekly to hit it. Set up any necessary accounts or automations and tell one person about your goal for accountability. By October 1st, do your first check-in towards your goal and assess what's working and what isn't, and then adjust. Create a November checkpoint. You should, at this point, be roughly halfway to your goal. Use Thanksgiving as a gratitude moment. Appreciate how far you've come and recommit to your December push. December accountability. The final stretch is often the hardest, but it's also the most rewarding. Don't let holiday chaos derail you when you're so close. Remember, you're not just finishing a goal, you're building a habit that's going to carry you through the new year and beyond. And then a January 1st celebration. You did something most people don't do. You set a goal and you achieved it. Now you get to start the new year ahead instead of behind, feeling bad about yourself and beating yourself up. Use that momentum to set your next goal. Now, once you've proven to yourself that you can achieve a September goal, I want to talk about what comes next, because the real magic isn't in achieving one goal. It's in becoming the kind of person who consistently follows through on financial commitments. This is where we start thinking about your money identity. Right now, you might think of yourself as someone who's bad with money, or not a saver, or always broke. But when you complete your September goal, that story changes. You become someone who sets financial goals and achieves them. And here's what I've noticed with my most successful clients. Once they change their money identity, everything else gets easier. They stop saying, I can't afford it, and start saying, that's not in my spending strategy right now. They stop feeling guilty about their money decisions and start feeling confident. They stop avoiding their bank account and start checking it regularly. So let's talk about your 2026 wealth building strategy. Once you've completed your September goal, you're going to choose another goal for January through April. But this time, you're going to choose something that builds on your success. So again, it's not setting a New Year's resolution that you need to work to achieve all year. It's setting another 90-day goal. If your September goal was building an emergency fund, your next goal might be automating retirement contributions. If your September goal was paying off debt, your next goal might be building an emergency fund. If your September goal was automating savings, your next goal might be automating and investing that money. You see that progression? Each goal builds on the last one. Within 2 years, you're going to look back and be amazed at how much your financial life has transformed. Not through one giant change, but through consistent, focused effort on one goal at a time. And here's something else to consider. Start thinking about your money team. This might be a financial planner, an accountant, a money smart friend, or even a podcast community. Successful people don't build wealth alone. They surround themselves with people who support their financial goals and can offer guidance when they need it. Your September goal is just the beginning of a much bigger strategy about who you are becoming with money. This isn't just about achieving one goal. It's about proving to yourself that you can set an intention and follow through. It's about building confidence in your ability to manage money intentionally. When you succeed with your September goal, something shifts. You stop thinking, I'm bad with money, and start thinking, I'm someone who follows through on financial commitments. That mindset shift, that's worth more than any dollar amount you might save or pay off. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this mindset shift that will serve you long after this mini series ends. Most people think financial success is about perfection, never overspending, always saving, making no mistakes. But that is not realistic, and it's definitely not sustainable. Real financial success is about consistency over perfection. It's about getting back up when you mess up instead of throwing in the towel. It's about making progress, not being perfect. It's about building systems that work with your real life, not some idealized version of yourself. Your September goal isn't about proving you're perfect with money. It's about proving you can be consistent with money. And consistency over time creates transformation. So when you have a bad week, and you will, don't quit. Adjust and keep going. When you're tempted to abandon your goal for something shinier, and you will be, remember why you started. This is your financial new year. You get to decide who you want to be with money for the next 3 months. You get to decide who you want to be with your money, not just through the end of the year, but for the long term. You get to decide what story you want to tell on December 31st. Make it a good one. And that's a wrap on our Back to School, Back to Budget mini series. Over these 4 episodes, we've reset your money routine, checked your financial health, learned to spend smartly through the busy seasons, and now you've got a framework for making September your financial new year. But here's the thing, listening to podcasts doesn't change your finances. Taking action does. So I want to challenge you. Pick your September goal this week. Set it up and start working it. And then I want you to tell someone about it. Share it on social media, tell a friend, email me, whatever keeps you accountable. Because from now until December 31st, when you're celebrating the achievement of a goal you set in September, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember that this is when you decided to stop hoping your finances would get better and started making them better. If this mini series has been helpful, please subscribe and leave a review. It helps other people find the show, and I read every single review. And remember, money isn't about restriction, it's about direction. You're not just one conversation closer to financial freedom anymore. You're one goal closer to financial confidence. Thank you for spending your September with me. Your September financial new year starts now. Pick your goal, make your plan, and let's finish this year strong. Remember, you're not just changing your bank account, you're changing your relationship with money forever. And that's a wrap on our Back to School, Back to Budget mini series. Over the past 4 episodes, we've tackled everything from shaking off that summer spending hangover to running a fall financial checkup to creating a holiday-proof spending plan, and finally, taking the leap from goal setter to goal achiever. These episodes were designed to work together like a financial reset, helping you get back into the money routines, prepare for the busiest season of the year, and step into the next level of wealth building with confidence. These episodes were designed to work together like a financial reset, helping you get back into the money routines, prepare for the busiest season of the year, and step into the next level of wealth building with confidence. If you missed an episode, now's the perfect time to binge the full 4-part series. 1, resetting your money routine after summer. 2, back to budgets basics, your fall financial checkup. 3, smart spending for a busy season. And 4, from goal setter to goal achiever. Share this series with a friend who's ready for a fresh start this fall. And don't forget to follow the show so you can never miss what's next, because this journey is just the beginning of making your money work for you.